So in my last video I went over the Twilight Princess PC port, also known as Twilight Princess Courage Reborn. If you haven't seen that video, I suggest going to watch it. It should be in the description below. This video will make a lot more sense if you watch that one because this is a follow-up to that video, where I will be answering all your questions from the comments, or at least most of your questions. Some of them were pretty dumb, but most of your questions from the comments, and I'll be talking about the FAQ questions on the server, and just like explaining them in more detail that I wasn't able to do on the FAQ because it kind of had to be short and sweet. And talking about some stuff that nobody's talked about yet. Some new stuff has happened since 2 days ago, and so I really want to get down to it, so without further ado, let's get into it. So for starters, who's working on this port? Well, the head developer is Linif. He's doing pretty much the whole thing solo while getting help from the other admins on the server. And by other admins on the server, I mean every other admin besides me. I don't deal with that kind of stuff. I deal with the Discord side of things. You know, I answer a lot of questions, I make channels, I moderate, you know, stuff like that. Stuff the developers don't really have time for, or just don't want to do, or don't know how to do, I'll handle it. Now, the next question is a bit of a big one. It's, when can we expect a release date? When is it gonna release? Is the open source happening soon? No, it's not. With some of the older screenshots on the server looking so clean, it's easy to think that the release date is right around the corner, but in reality, it's going to be a while. Now, Linif has said that they're only one step away from making the whole project open source, which will be like the soft launch. It'll be a launch, it'll be open to the public, but it will just be for testing, it won't be finished, it will probably still be impossible, so on and so forth. Now, when to expect a release date? Not for a while. I'll be keeping you updated, I'll be keeping you posted, so hit subscribe and maybe you'll learn about it a few days before it launches. Now, in terms of keeping you updated, we have officially moved on to the 4th version of the test build that the testers are allowed to play. I want to keep this part short because not a lot has changed. The monkey still vanishes, it's still impossible, runs even worse. I don't know what the point of this was, but I'm happy to see it continuously getting updated. And yes, they do know about the problem with the monkeys, they're working on it. Don't worry guys. They're working so hard. Go into the Discord server, say thank you, tell them I sent you. I'll probably be the one who accepts your thanks, to be honest. But just go say thanks. So, hearing all this, you might be saying, well, what's the point? What's the difference between a PC port and just emulating it? After all, if I can emulate it, I can play it on PC, and that's all that really matters, right? Well, yes and no. You can play it on PC with an emulator like Dolphin, that's fine. You can hack it, you can enable widescreen hacks, that's all great and stuff, but PC ports have a lot of advantages. But before I justify it, let's just explain the differences. First, emulation. Now, let's say you have a GameCube game, right? It's designed to run on a GameCube, and the GameCube will never confuse it, it will never give it weird commands or instructions, it'll just play the game like how the developers intended it to. The GameCube doesn't have to pretend it's different hardware because it was designed to run the game. It's giving exactly what the game is expecting. Easiest explanation, the GameCube gives the game a 1, and the game is expecting a 1, and when it sees the 1, it can play. Very simple explanation, right? There's a bunch of other stuff that happens in the background, you know, the way it runs, the way it renders stuff, but that doesn't matter. A modern computer, however, will be giving it a 2. It's not designed to understand a 2. It doesn't run when given a 2, so it just ends up being like a huge mess. So you can do one of two things. Either you can turn that 2 into a 1 and give that to the game, which is not easy, but easier than rewriting the game to expect and accept a 2. This, of course, is emulation versus a native port. Emulation turns the 2 into a 1, and a native port just rewrites the game to accept a 2. However, native porting is extremely difficult. Not only does the game have to be 100% decompiled, which means all of the code has to be completely laid out, which this only happened for Twilight Princess last December, but then, after that's all done, someone has to take that code, which remember is written to expect a 1, and then rewrite it to expect a 2. Just decompiling it takes forever, and then you actually have to port it. It's a ton of work. Now, you might be saying, what's the point? Why are they doing all this? Why not just convert the 2 into a 1 and just play on Dolphin? Well, you can. It's not a bad place to play it at all. But the thing is, a 2 has so many advantages. Modern hardware speeds are incredibly fast compared to the GameCube. Even on like crappy laptops, it's just way better. In fact, on the server, Linif shared a screenshot where the game was running at 600 FPS compared to 30 on the GameCube. So yeah, modern hardware speeds are fast. Everyone knows this. But a PC port also includes a lot more freedom for modding and cheating and other hacks. I wasn't given permission to show off exactly what they're working on right now, but believe me, it's going to be worth the wait. But at a base level, that's what's different between them. Now, as you may have been able to discern by now, it's the GameCube game that is getting ported to PC. Not the Wii version, and not the Wii U version. The GameCube version is just the most default version of the game, and even if you have a ROM for the Wii version or the Wii U version, it probably won't work at all. You're just gonna have to stick to Dolphin for now. The next question is, of course, are there plans for making this port available for Linux, Mac, Android? Yes. This is a question we get asked so often on the server. We literally have screenshots of the game running on Android in the developer screenshots channel. You don't have to look for them. Yes, there are plans for making this available for multiple OSs. However, it may take a while till those come out because that's a side project. That's not what we're working on right now. Currently, we're only working on the Windows version. However, several testers have said that you can actually play the game on Linux using Proton. Shout out to the other testers for figuring that out. I really don't have the energy. But speaking of the other testers, one of them is working on something quite big. Now, if you're in the server, you probably saw something like this on the announcements channel. This is, of course, a launcher using fan art for the game we got a while back. That's hilarious. I did ask them. They said they asked permission. This is currently a mock-up. However, I do have exclusive video footage of it. So this is the launcher, and as you can see, it's really well laid out. It looks amazing. Personally, I love this layout with like the squarish games. However, it doesn't do anything right now. There's nothing here. There's no updates. The game's not out yet. It can't really do anything. So it's cool for sure, but currently it is just a mock-up. However, I have a lot of news on what it will be when it releases. Now, I have a lot of news straight from the horse's mouth, and the horse in this case being Pukas. I really hope that's not a rude word because it sure does sound like it's me. He's currently the only one working on this launcher, and of course I asked him a bunch of questions so I could tell all of you. So currently this launcher is only set to support Twilight Princess Courage Reborn. It shouldn't add any complications to installing it. In fact, it should make it a lot simpler, but mainly it won't add complications to importing your save file from Dolphin. I was asked to give a disclaimer. The mock-ups are not representative of the final release. It may look similar or the same, but it may not, so just keep that in mind. The launcher is going to be completely cross-platform, Linux, Windows, basically everywhere that Twilight Princess Courage Reborn is being released on, the launcher will as well. Planned features are stuff like automatic updates and news on the front page, which will be very useful. It'll be completely and utterly open source, just like Twilight Princess Courage Reborn. They're going to add controller support as well as keyboard and mouse support, so you can select your games with either. This is kind of a gimme, but it's very convenient for Steam Deck users like myself. And hopefully, which, you know, very reassuring, but hopefully Pukas will release it alongside Twilight Princess Courage Reborn, the open source first release. So that would be really nice to have it right at the beginning. You can get familiar with it, you know, it'll make things a lot easier for non-developers. And overall, this is going to be wildly convenient, and I'm so glad somebody's working on this. Now, the final question is quite big, and it's, how can I become a playtester? In my last video, I talked a lot about how I was a playtester and the things I was able to do, all the different versions and such like that. And yeah, there's a possibility that you could be a playtester too. However, first step is that you have to join the server. It'll be linked down below. Join that and then check out that announcements channel. The announcements channel will tell you whether or not we're accepting playtesters. Scroll up, look at the different announcements. If there is an announcement saying we're accepting playtesters, first come, first served, then respond into the general chat and be like, I want to be a playtester. However, if there's not a new announcement saying that, don't even bother. Don't bother DMing people. You probably won't become a playtester. Keep those notifications on and check that announcements channel frequently because randomly we might need more playtesters. But honestly, if you want to be a playtester, wait for the open source release. Now, you might not be a playtester, however, you may be a developer. Now, if you're not a developer, again, just wait for the open source release. However, if you are, please tell us, DM any of us really, and if you offer to help, you may get the developer role and be allowed to work on it, which also will give you the test build, of course. Now, that's it. Progress is happening so rapidly, it's really hard to make these videos, so I'd appreciate it if you subscribed, liked the video, left a comment. All of that stuff would be so nice. I work really hard to try and make these on time quickly so that they're relevant when I release them, and then create more of them in the future. So, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, one final thing. If you're going to leave a comment about how I was a bit too critical of the alpha stage, you know, or being an early tester, just don't. I know the developers, like I said, I'm a mod on the server, and they actually really liked my videos, so just don't even try. I'm not falling for it.